Dave.
Hello. We've got a rather sad MS-10 today, which is it's making some noises, but there's a couple of knobs missing, and let's turn that off. And sadly, the usually reliable UPS managed to drop it on the way here.
Oh dear.
So it's got a somewhat mangled case and a couple of dead keys, but it will live.
So talk us through what you're going to do to it.
What I'm going to do, well, I'm actually, this actually belongs to a chap called Jan Burnett up in Glasgow. I've just been talking to him. We're actually going to do it a complete refurbishment. It's got two knobs missing, two controllers missing, part of the envelope generator and the filter sweep. But all the other knobs are going a bit crackly and nasty, and the sockets are starting to corrode inside. So we're going to replace the whole lot. And
I don't have an MS-10, but I don't think that white knob is.
No, that's somewhat less than authentic, as is this one. And these ones are pretty useless as well. Poke your finger in. So yes, I'll try and find some almost identical knobs. Yeah, I think this one was actually a big one like that. I'm not entirely sure. It's been some time since I've seen one actually. You don't see them that often. You tend to see more MS-20s. But,
so yeah, this was what,
1978.
78.
Which is a long time ago.
Yeah, and a kind of entry level-ish.
Very entry level. I mean, it's so basic inside it's untrue. But there's just something about the sound. It just sounds right.
And of course, it's got the little patch bay thing.
Yes,
it can be a bit bewildering.
Yes, it's got a very well. It's all hardwired anyway, so it just works, and this just reroutes things rather than routing things, so you don't have to use that. There's actually there are some things. It's actually a slightly simpler patch bay than on the MS-20, because on the MS-20 there are some things you can get wrong, whereas this it's all straightforward. You can connect anything to anything more or less, and something will happen.
And you were saying earlier that the actual sockets are a bit. They were particularly good ones.
They're not. They're not. I mean that they were standard at the time, but they're just pressed steel inside, and these days you can get nice nickel-plated ones that are much more positive. So you get things if you. The thing is, if you don't get a good contact and you're using one of the sockets, you can actually get kind of weird pitch shifts and wobbly noises and things, so you do need good connections. But yeah, they're simple enough to change.
And once you're inside it, what are you going to address in there? Have you seen inside yet?
I've not seen inside yet, except peering through the end to find out what had got broken.
Right.
Yeah, there's not. It's I mean, I've shone a torch down the end, and that all seems to work. I've let some spiders out, but yeah.
So we've got some relocated
Glaswegian spiders. Yeah.
Living in the country life in New York.
Right.
Great. Okay. So
let's take it apart.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Not quite sure what you do now.
So some more on the back.
No,
the bottom,
it just needs some wires removing.
It's like trying to birth a calf at the moment. His hand inside there.
It's a bit on the flimsy side, isn't it? Let's face it, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not high quality
Well, I guess
engineering.
the integrity comes from when everything's together.
It's the sum of the whole. It's not still plugged in, is it, Dave?
Oh, it is actually. Yes, maybe we should unplug it. Right, this is what goes inside an MS-10. The only hard to replace bit is that bit there, that funny little black blob there, is actually the filter. It's called a Korg 35. And is irreplaceable, but someone whose name I can't remember has done a lot of work on it and has actually produced a circuit that will replace it exactly. I'll put a link to it on the Facebook page. But yes, if you've lost that bit, then it's replaceable. Or there are people, Korg actually copied that filter for the little Korg Monotron, and there are people who have hacked a Korg Monotron in order to replace that bit, but that sounds like even more work than than building one from scratch.
So if you built one from scratch, how big would that be?
Oh, it comes out on a board about that square.
Okay.
You
And
know,
just sort of,
there's plenty of space in there.
Right.
There's,
the
so
spiders won't mind.
no. Yeah. Apart from that, these two big capacitors here were going a bit slightly leaky, so I shall replace those. In fact, there's only a few others. I'll probably replace all of them just to keep it happy. Because electrolytic capacitors do start leaking after a while. But yeah, apart from that, it's all in remarkably good nick. These two missing pots here, someone's actually unsoldered them. They've not just broken off or fallen out, so I don't quite know what's been going on there. But yeah.
Great. So when you're finished, it'll be
better than you.
Better than you.
Yeah, these are all going. You can clean these pots, but some of them have got to the point where they won't really. You'll have to keep on cleaning them, and it's a pain. That one's actually snapped off slightly as well. So yeah, we'll replace all that. What's really nice is that on the board they've actually printed all the values, which you don't often see, which means you haven't got to keep going back to your circuit diagram and looking it up.
Japanese engineering.
So that's rather nice.
1970s.
Yes, it's synthesizers by numbers.
Okay, so hi Dave, we're back again. The Korg MS-10 has been had a few developments.
It's had lots done. It's these end plates are now splendidly mended. Got some real Paul craftsmanship going on there. The keyboard, the bits for the broken keys were luckily still in there, so I've managed to stick them back together using a plastic solvent. and you can't really see it, but I've just strengthened them up with some epoxy resin inside because there's lots of empty space in there. The problem there has been is finding some suitable pots to replace, because they all need replacing. And these are generally known as spider pots with a bent leg, which no one at all seems to make anymore. So what we had to do is get some ordinary pots, the same rough type. Should have done this first, shouldn't I? Yeah, here's one I prepared earlier. That would be easier, maybe. Quick comedy moment. There's one. Right, there's one which, if you look, has just got straight pins. So the thing is, I used a cutter on the Dremel tool, and you just cut the old ones off, leaving the legs there, and then you have to be quite careful about lining them up, but you can actually just solder these on the top like that, and that will do the job, because obviously sticking them pointing that way isn't really going to work. You could in theory use bits of wire to connect them. In fact, where there were two missing, I'll actually have to do that, but it kind of relies on all of these to hold the board firmly in place on the face board. So yeah, you've got to be fairly careful about lining them up properly, because there's a little bit of play up and down you can get just by bending, but if you're a long way out, you're going to run into problems lining everything up with the holes in the front.
So you're going to replace all of them? All of them,
yeah. They're all to a certain extent grotty, and the ones that could be cleaned up wouldn't stay cleaned up for long.
Right.
And to be honest, while you're in there, you may as well do that. I think there's 3 that could be just cleaned up, but you may as well do them all.
So once that's done,
it's just putting it all back together and checking it works,
which hopefully will be the next thing we'll see.
Yeah. Hello. Right, as you can see, the MS-10 has vanished. It turned out to have a lot more wrong with it than we thought. When it was dropped, it developed various little cracks in the circuit board, but it's all been mended now, and it's been sent off back to its owner and is out gigging. So a success, and you can't hear it. But never mind.